Welcome back, everybody. CTV Morning Live. Dr. Paul is here this morning. How are you, sir?
Very well.
Happy Thanksgiving. Did you have a good weekend?
Great weekend.
Yeah, excellent stuff. We're going to talk about mental health awareness and
Sure.
the importance of that awareness, right?
Well, mental health has become quite the issue, as you know. You were talking about it this morning.
That's right, yeah.
About people being stressed at work and so on. But we've seen a real increase in the trends and the numbers of mental health sufferers across all age groups. We focus on teen mental health and child mental health as well. But as many as 1 in 5 teenagers, for example, have some kind of a mental health issue.
Right.
That's 20%.
Right.
And probably the same applies for the general population. So we do see it. We do see workplace stress. We see school stress. We see it as a result of bullying. And there's a lot of theory behind why this is going on and why there seems to be an increase as compared to 30 or 40 years ago.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this question, and this is something you heard our conversation this morning. How is it there's a fine line between what is the daily rigors of life versus mental stress and so on and so forth. How do you determine that line as medical professionals?
Well, that's the thing. You see, there are certain cardinal rules that we use. So, for example, a lot of people will be stressed or upset if somebody dies, for example, and it's normal to grieve. There's certain time limits until, that we accept as normal.
Sure.
You could be down and depressed and tired or stressed from work, and that as well can be normal. The thing that sort of is an alarm to us is, does it interfere with that person's regular life functioning?
Gotcha.
Sleeping interference, eating interference with socializing, impeding his success at work, at school, and so forth. Right. So that's really the fine line between the two, and so it's a gray zone. It's not a straight line.
It's got to be difficult as a medical professional,
really
right?
Is, yes,
not only as just a human being. Do you also take a look at what I like to call the bounce back factor from traumatic events?
Sure, of course.
Such as a death in the family?
Of course. So there is, like I said, the normal stress and normal grieving pattern of somebody. But if somebody grieves for someone's death for 10 years and doesn't get out of the house and so on, you can kind of see
there's a problem.
And there's a problem. And there are, we have manuals and psychiatrists and family doctors. There are some criteria, for example, for diagnosing certain diseases. And you have to sort of fit those criteria to be able to be diagnosed. So, having said that, though, there really is a true sort of rise in those numbers.
Well, I think it's because more people are talking about it,
I think
right?
So.
And a lot of people were sitting back, not saying a word about the things that were troubling them until recently.
Well, there was a real stigma associated to the term psychiatric illness, mental illness, and so on. And today, it's just a matter of being aware and reaching out for help. And that's why we have formed Eastern Ontario Coalition, Suicide Prevention Coalition, that really put together school boards. Everybody is everybody dealing with mental health issues that really lists sort of, it's called Reach Out Now, reachoutnow.ca, and really talks about what mental health issues are and where to get help and how to recognize symptoms as well. Because especially with school boards that we work with, they tell us, well, how do we recognize the symptoms of somebody, being beyond just being upset or stressed? What that normal to abnormal line is, and that helps them.
Yeah, you're going to be talking about this issue at an upcoming big event, Bell and CTV putting on the Kaleidoscope of Hope. I know that's right. You'll be focusing on.
Oh yes, we're focusing on teen mental health, and the Kaleidoscope of Hope is going to occur October 27th. We had one last year, great success. We're hoping to get even more people. We raised about $60,000 last year for the Youth Service Bureau, and this year we're raising money for the Youth Service Bureau, do it for Darren through the Royal Ottawa, and CHEO as well. And I think it's a worthwhile event.
Well, I mean, it's all about awareness, and when we say awareness, I want to make sure people understand what awareness is, because it's great to know that there are things happening in your community when it comes to a particular issue. But when it comes to mental health, when we talk about awareness, we're talking about recognizing the signs and maybe helping someone get help along the way, right?
Because very often one of the things that people lose sight of is what we call the insight. So people lack the insight of saying, oh, something's wrong with me as a person with mental health issues. And so it behooves the family, and it's important for the family and friends to be able to sort of help that person reach out, so to speak, and recognize them. Because sometimes when you're in that dark hole, you don't know you're in the dark hole until maybe you're looking outside in, you might recognize it, but when you're in it, you don't recognize it. So I think it's important for awareness, not only awareness, but awareness turning into action.
Yeah, exactly right. Because you may be one of the people that's able to look at someone closely, or a family member, and recognize that there are some issues.
That's right.
Well, people can get involved too with the Kaleidoscope of Hope if they want to pick up tickets.
Yes, kaleidoscopeofhope.ca
on the 27th.
Yes.
reachoutnow.ca is the website that Dr. Paul was talking about. Listen, thanks for coming by. Good
Thank you very much. Nice seeing you again, Kurt.
Good.